Imagine you were a guardsman on the front line, crouching in the trench while the sky burned above you. There are two signs in the 31st millennium your wool prey will never hear. The first is the roar of a world eater. These are traitors who have surgically mutilated their own brains to feel nothing but the biting nails of rage. They are the avatars of Kharn, and they will kill you to build the throne of skulls. They are monsters in the truest sense, lost, damned, and hungry. The second sound is the howl of the flesh terrors. They were the Imperial Aquila. They are technically your allies. They are the angels of death sent to save you. But when the black rage takes them, when the whistle turns red and the heartbeat thunders in their ears, they won't distinguish between you and the heretic. To them, you are just meat. One is a traitor legion lost to the blood god. The other is a loyalist chapter clinging to the edge of sanity. But on the battlefield, is there actually a difference? Today, we are deep diving into the tragedy of the flesh terrors. The chapters that proves the line between a hero and a monster isn't a wall, it's a razor's edge. We are going to explore how Nassir Amit and Gabriel Seth turn a corpse into a weapon, and why the Imperium's most brutal loyalists are arguably more terrifying than the traitors they fight. So make sure you subscribe and tell me your opinions in the comments, as I tend to learn more reading those and will help me a lot. Let's begin. Today we are talking about the flesh terrors, the sons of Sanguinius, who took his darkness but not his light. To understand the flesh terrors, you have to understand that they are a dark mirror. If you look at the world eaters, you see what happens when a space marine embraces the monster within. They surgically implanted the butcher's nails to forge rage upon themselves. It was a choice, a tragic one, forced by their primal Kangron, but a choice nonetheless. The flesh terrors, however, did not choose their rage. It is written into their DNA. They are the most honest expression of the Blood Angel gene seed. They don't hide behind art or sculpture or poetry like their cousins on Baal. They know they are monsters, they know they are dying, and yet they refuse to break. To understand why the flesh terrors are the way they are, we have to go back to the Great Crusade, to a man named Nassir Amit. Amit was the captain of the Blood Angels' 5th Company. Even back then, before the heresy, the 5th Company was known for being rather difficult. While other Blood Angels were trying to be the noble angels Sanguinius wanted them to be, Amit was a realist. He was brutal, he was honest, and he had a nickname that would eventually name his chapter, the Flesh Terror. Here's where the connection to the World Eater become literal. During the Great Crusade, the Blood Angels and the World Eaters often fought together. They were the two legions designed to shock assault. And Nassir Amit didn't spend his free time discussing philosophy. He spent his time in the World Eaters' gladiatorial pits aboard the flagship, the Conqueror. He fought the best the 12 Legion had to offer. He even stood toe-to-toe with Kharn, the future betrayer. Amit respected the World Eaters because they didn't lie about what they were. They were killers. The difference was, at the time, the World Eaters were descending to madness because of the butcher's nails, implants hammered into the skull that punished them with intense pain if they weren't fighting. The World Eaters were a tragic figures. They were lobotomized soldiers, forced to mutilate their own brains to be like their father, Angron. Amit saw this, and he matched it, not because of implants, but because of the red thirst. The Blood Angels have a genetic flaw, a vampire's hunger for blood, that heightens their aggression. Amit channeled this, and he fought with 2 chain flails, tearing his opponents apart. Amit was so brutal that even the World Eaters paused to watch him work. He embodied the Loyalist monster archetype. He famously said, "I eat the dead." It wasn't a metaphor. After battles, Amit and his brothers would consume the flesh of the fallen to gain their memories and strength, a macabre ritual that disgusted the other legion but bonded them with the Old Eater's primitive honor. When the heresy ended and the legions were broken up into chapters, Amit founded the Flesh Terrors. He took the most unstable, violent brothers of the Blood Angels with him to the death world of Cretacia. His philosophy was simple: we are not angels, we are weapons. While the World Eaters fell to Kharn to satiate their nails, Amit created a chapter that would ride the line of damnation without ever crossing it. He established the culture of the Flesh Terrors: isolation, brutality, and acceptance that they are essentially loyalist berserkers. This brings us to the core comparison, the courses. Why are the Flesh Terrors loyal and the World Eaters traitors, if they act exactly in the same way on the battlefield? Let's look at the Butcher's Nail first. This is the tragedy of the World Eaters. The nails are a cortical implants. They rewire the brain to remove the capacity for joy, peace, or satisfaction. The only thing the nails allow to World Eater to feel is a dull, throbbing pain that escalates the longer they are calm, and the only moment the pain stops is when they are inflicting violence. A World Eater isn't necessarily angry at you personally, he's an addict, and violence is the only drug that stops the withdrawal symptoms. Eventually, this drew them to the arms of Kharn, the chaos god of rage, because Kharn offered them a metaphysical purpose for their suffering. Now look at the flesh terrors. They suffer from two genetic causes, the red thirst and the black rage. The red thirst is a physical need. It is a vampire hunger. In the heat of battle, the flesh terrorist wants to drink the blood of his enemy. It makes them faster, stronger, and more feral. But the black rage, there is the true horror. The black rage is psychic. It is an hallucination. When a flesh terrorist falls to the black rage, he is no longer in the 41st millennium. In his mind, he is sanguineous about the vengeful spirit. Every orc, every tyrannid, every heretic he sees becomes Horus. He is reliving the death of his genetic father. And here's the critical difference. The World Eaters might kill to escape pain. The flesh terrors kill because they are consumed by a tragic grief and a predatory hunger. The World Eaters have lost their minds to surgery and demons. The flesh terrors are losing their minds to their own genetics. This creates a terrifying battlefield reality. When a World Eater attacks, he screams blood for the blood god. He is glorying in the slaughter. When a flesh terror attacks, he might be screaming, Horus, why did you betray us? He is fighting a ghost. The flesh terrors have one of the highest rates of falling to the black rage of any successor chapter. They are dying out, their gene seed is degrading, and this desperation makes them fight even harder. They are not fighting for glory, they are fighting to take as many enemies with them as possible before they go extinct. If Nassir Amit was the founder, Gabriel Seth is the savior. Seth is the current chapter master of the Flesh Terrors, and is arguably one of the most complex characters in the modern Warhammer 40k lore. Seth is the antithesis of the noble space marine archetype. He is rude, he is aggressive, and he openly despises any ceremony of the other's blood angels. He wields an enormous two-handed chainsword called the Blood River, a weapon so large that most Astartes couldn't even lift. Seth represents the grim reality. We are monsters, so let us be monsters for the Emperor. Seth knows the Inquisition has investigated his chapter countless times. He knows other Imperial commanders refuse to fight alongside them because of the collateral damage. He knows that the High Chaplain Apollos, another key figure in the chapter, stands ready to execute him if he ever falls to the rage. But Seth's philosophy is what separates him from the World Eaters like Kharn the Betrayer. Kharn looks like he's given up. He has surrendered to the flow of violence. Seth instead fights the flow. Every single second of the Seth life is a battle against the Red Thirst. He wants to lose control, but he uses his iron will to aim their aggression solely at the enemy. There is a defining moment where Seth is challenged on why the Flesh Terror is not just disband or turn traitor, and the existence is the answer. He believes that the Imperium needs monsters. He is the Loyalist monster. He protects humanity not because he loves them, but because duty demands it. In the devastation of Baal, for example, when the Tyranids were consuming everything, the Flesh Terrors were the ones holding the lines that no one else could. Why? Because when you are practically a berserker yourself, you don't fear the swarm, you dive into it. Seth knows he's broken, but he fights anyway. So we have to ask the question, why haven't the Flesh Terrors fallen to chaos? On paper, they are perfect candidates. They love blood, they love skulls, they are constantly angry. Their homework trash is a place where the only strongest survive. God will welcome them with open arms. The answer lies in the source of their rage. The World Eater's rage is external. It is the nails, it is Kharn, it is an imposition. The Flesh Terror's rage is internal, it is sanguineous. The Flesh Terrors believe that their rage is connected to their Primarch. Sanguinius was a noble soul, but he has a terrifying temper. By embracing their rage, the Flesh Terrors believe they are honoring the sacrifice of their father. To fall to Kharn would become an insult. It is like a paradox. They use the weapons of the enemy, like mindless violence, to fight the enemy. They walk the thin red line. Every day, they risk to fall to heresy, and that's what makes them so compelling. A World Eater is scary because he has no restraint. A Flesh Terror is scary because he has barely enough restraint. The Flesh Terrors and the World Eaters are a reflection of each other. They are the two outcomes of weaponized humanity. One broke under the pressure and became the thing he hated. The other cracked, splittered, and became jagged, but he held the line. Gabriel Seth and his brothers are the monsters we keep in the dark so we can sleep at night. They are the eaters of flesh, the drinkers of blood, the butchers of Cretaceous. They are one of the most dangerous loyalists in the galaxy, and yes, we need them. If you enjoyed this deep dive to the savagery of the 41st millennium, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And I want to know in the comments, who will win in a duel, Gabriel Seth or Kharn the Betrayer? Let the debate begin. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.